Hey guys, I hope you've had a wonderful winter break. This week we're kind of getting back into the groove of things and we are beginning to talk about order of operations. So before we'd previously talked about in class, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, and kind of the order in which we solve the operations. So you have anchor charts around the room for that. I'm sure you have stuff in your math notebook for that as well. Now we're going to start talking about actually writing these numerical expressions. And numerical expressions are the names, what they call these different equations that may include parentheses or exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So as we go through here, up at the top, we're going to start writing numerical expressions, but we are not going to solve. So this is going to be a little different from what we're used to with solving our order of operations and knowing what comes first, next, then last, that type of thing. So starting here with these numerical expressions, I have 4 different expressions written down here. We're going to go through one by one and talk about how we would write these equations. Before we actually get started though, we're going to kind of talk about some different words that mean to add, subtract, multiply, and divide, because those are key in knowing what operation we need to do. So when we talk about the word add, we often talk about things like sum, plus, total, altogether, increase by, those types of things. When we talk about subtraction, we talk about words like difference, decreased, fewer than, how many more, minus, take away, those types of things. When we talk about multiplication, we talk about of, we talk about times, product, finding the area, factor, per, multiply, multiple, all of those words. And lastly, when we talk about division, we talk about words like quotient, half, split, share, equal groups, divided, shared equally, cut up, those different things. Okay? So looking at this first equation here, it says the sum of 24 and 12 divided by 9. So the first thing that I'm going to do, and I'm going to do this with my blue marker, I'm going to underline the words that tell me what operations I'm going to do. So I see the word sum, I'm going to underline it, and I see the word divided by, and I'm going to underline it. Okay? With my red marker, I'm going to go through and circle my numbers. So 24, 12, and 9. Okay? Now, what is it that they want me to do first? Well, the first thing that I read is the sum of 24 and 12. So they're going to want me to add 24 and 12 first, because I know that sum means to add. So I need to add 24 plus 12. I'm going to put that over here. 24 plus 12. Now, my next operation that I see is divided by 9. So after that, they're going to want me to divide by 9. Okay? Now, I said that we weren't going to solve these, but there's something that we need to look at very closely. Okay? 24 plus 12 divided by 9. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay? But it's telling me that I want to find the sum first before I divide. And we all know that in Please Excuse My Dear Aunt Sally, multiplying and dividing would come first. So there's something that I need to add around 24 and 12. So think about what that is. Around 24 and 12, I need to add a set of parentheses that help me to know that that is what I need to do first, and then divide by 9 just to match my equation. Okay? Alright, next one. Same thing, I'm going to use my blue and my red again. It says add 25 and 25, then multiply by 2. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to underline all of my words that mean that that mean an operation. So I'm going to underline add, I'm going to underline multiply. Now I'm going to circle my numbers in red. So 25, 25, and 2. All right, the word add, that's just plain add, and then multiply, we know is to multiply. So now I'm ready to write my equation. This time I'm going to write my equation in green. Okay, I need to add 25 and 25, then multiply by 2. So 25 plus 25, then multiply by 2. Multiply by 2. Okay, now let's double check this equation. Add 25 and 25, then multiply by 2. Again, I have to use my knowledge of please excuse my dear Aunt Sally and know that I'm actually going to multiply first. So there's something that I need to add around 25 and 25. It is a set of parentheses. That'll help me to know that I have to add 25 plus 25 first before I can multiply it by 2. Okay? Alright, next equation. I'm going to use red and orange this time. Subtract the sum of 8 and 6 from 40. So I'm going to underline in orange my operation words. Subtract the sum of 8 and 40 from, or of 8 and 6 from 40. So I know that subtract just means to subtract and sum means to add. Now, these are where things get a little tricky with subtraction. In order to subtract and have a correct equation, we know that the bigger number has to go first. So keep that in mind when you are subtracting. But you also have to read these very carefully. Subtract the sum of 8 and 6 from 40. Anytime you see from a number, this number is going to go first when I write it. Okay? So I do need to circle my numbers in red. Almost forgot about that. And now I'm going to use my pink marker to write this equation. I just told you that 40 has to go first. Okay? And what am I subtracting from 40? Well, I'm subtracting the sum of 8 and 6. So the sum of 8 plus 6. Okay? Now, again, I know that when I solve, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, because addition and subtraction are grouped together, I have to solve whichever one comes first when I read it from left to right. Because I run into subtraction first, I have to add parentheses around 8 and 6 in order to solve that first, so then I can find their sum and then subtract it from 40. Okay? Last equation, I'm going to use my blue and my red again. Subtract 15 from 25, then multiply by 6. So with my blue marker, I'm going to underline my operation words. Subtract, from, and multiply. So subtract, we just know means subtract. Multiply, we know it means to multiply. Okay? Again, I need to circle my numbers in red. So 15, 25, and 6. I'm going to use my orange marker this time. It says subtract 15 from 25. So 25 has to be the first number that I write because I want to subtract that. I want to subtract 15 from 25. And then multiply by 6. Well, I know that I read subtract 15 from 25 first. And if I go to solve this right now, this isn't going to be what I solve first. So again, I have to add a set of parentheses in front of 25 and behind 15. Okay? We will continue to talk about writing numerical expressions in class. So hopefully you kind of understand this now. If you need help or you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask.